Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about air pressure. Make sure that you have your notes in front of you. You should be on the back on the left-hand side. That's the only part that we're going to fill in tonight. Don't worry about the winds on the right side. If this would work. Okay, here we go. All right, so you have a picture like a mountain up at the top left-hand corner of the back side of your notes from last night. And the thing that you need to remember is as you increase in altitude or elevation, same thing. So as you get further and further away from the actual ground, so you're, getting away from sea level, air pressure, density, and temperature decreases. So it gets colder, the air actually decreases in density, so it gets lighter, and air pressure also decreases too. So, your ears are popping due to the pressure change. So on your piece of paper, make sure that you label up at the top of your mountain, you have low pressure, low temperature, and low density. And then, of course, at the bottom of your paper would be the opposite of that. So at the bottom of the mountain, you need to write high pressure, high temperature, and high density. So it's very hot. I mean, it's not like super hot, but it's hotter than it would be at the top of a mountain. So think about that, and all the pressure, density, all that good stuff, the pressure is the same. So all the low stuff is at the top, all the high stuff is at the bottom. So it's kind of like opposite day when we're talking about air pressure. And I know that it can kind of be confusing, so you just kind of have to get that into your brain, and then you should be good to go. So make sure you got that down on your piece of paper. Okay, so air pressure in general, high pressure actually comes down and low pressure goes up. So that's kind of going along with your mountain as well. The low pressure is all the way up at the top of the mountain. High pressure is all the way down at the bottom of the mountain. You have I think two more pictures that are kind of in the middle of your paper. And these are actually flip-flops, so your low pressure right here will actually go down here, and your warm air rises would go up here. So I'm sorry about that confusion right there. So your low pressure goes up because warm air rises, and then your high pressure comes down. That's because cold air sinks. Okay, so make sure that you read this. Warm air rises, creating low pressure. Clouds form if there's not enough pressure, so low pressure is actually kind of like poor weather is what people would say. And if we're having a high pressure day, that means that there's pretty much no clouds, it's a sunny day, and things like that. So make sure you got that down on your piece of paper as well. And the way that we measure, I'm sorry, I just said this. Low pressure is lousy weather, and then high pressure is happy weather, so you can think about that too. Again, the lower pressure is up at the top, higher pressure goes down. And then this is the last part of your notes. The instruments that we use to kind of see what the pressure is outside is a barometer. There's a couple different types of barometers, but all you really need to know is that we use a barometer for air pressure. We're not going to really talk about that, so don't worry about that with anticyclones and cyclones. So you're good. So make sure that you got your notes down and you bring them in tomorrow for our lab tomorrow. Have a great evening.